الله وبركاته. الحمد لله وكفى ثم الصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى وبعد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. After giving thanks and praises to Allah the Almighty and sending peace and salutation to the seal of the messengers Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family members, his companions, and whoever follow their footsteps to the day of judgment and to proceed. Inshallah, today is the second day of Ramadan 1441, which is equivalent to April 25th, 2020. And we are continuing our class on the Tafsir of Surah Al-Mulk. Yesterday, we went over the first two verses of Surah Al-Mulk, and today we'll move on to the next two or three, if possible, inshallah. But before, again, I would like to read those verses before we proceed with the tafsir, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير. ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير. وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير. Alhamdulillah. He the Most High mentioned saying, الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا. The one who created 7 heavens, one above another. ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت. You cannot see any crookedness, any fault in the creation of the Most Gracious. فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور. Turn back and look again and see if you will see any crookedness or any fault. In this verse, الذي خلق 7 سماوات, the one who created 7 heavens, there are a few points that we will address. Point number 1, his statement, the Most High, the one who created 7 heavens. All of us know that there are various verses of the Quran that address that the heavens are 7 in number. From among these verses is the statement of Allah the Almighty, Surah Isra, where He the Most High said, تُسَبِّحُ لَهُ السَّمَاوَاتُ السَّبْعُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَنْ فِيهِنْ. He said, whatsoever is in the heavens, meaning the 7 heavens, تُسَبِّحُ لَهُ السَّمَاوَاتُ السَّبْعُ, the 7 heavens glorifies Him, and likewise the earth, and whatsoever is in them. That's one example. Another example is the ayah in Surah Nuh that says that He the Most High said, أَلَمْ تَرَوْا كَيْفَ خَلَقَ اللَّهُ 7 سَمَاوَاتٍ طِبَاقًا. Did you not see how Allah the Almighty created 7 heavens, one above another? And another example is the statement of Allah the Almighty in Surah An-Naba, where He the Most High said, وَبَنَيْنَا فَوْقَكُمْ سَبْعًا شِدَادًا. And we created above you 7 strong heavens. أي سبع سماوات شدادا. We created above you 7 strong heavens. And the examples of these are many. However, there is only one verse in the Quran that states that the earth is also what? 7. And the verse is the one that is stated in Surah At-Talaq, where the Most High said, Allahu alladhi khalaqa sab'a samawati wa min al-ardi mithlahun. He said Allah the Almighty is the one who created 7 heavens, and from the earth the like of them, and from the earth the like of them. Our scholars mention that his statement, and from the earth the like of them, meaning and from the earth the like of them in number. And we will expound on that as we move further. So again, this is the only verse in the Quran that have the indications that the earth is also 7 in number. However, there are several ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ that indicate that the earth are also at 7 in numbers. From one, the example of these ahadith is the hadith that is narrated by Ahmed in his Musnad, that the Prophet ﷺ used to, before he entered a land or a city, a new city, he will make this dua. He will say, Allahumma, O Allah, Anta Rabbas Samawati Sab' wa ma adlal. You are the Lord of the 7 heavens and whatsoever they shade. Wa Anta Rabbas Awdis wa Rabbas Awdis Sab' wa ma aqlal. And you are the Lord of the 7th earth and whatsoever they carry. Wa anta rabbur riyah wa ma adrain. And you are the Lord of the winds and whatever they blow. Wa anta rabbush shayateen wa ma adlal. And you are the Lord of the devils and whosoever they send astray. As'aluka khayra ma fi hadhihi al-qarya wa khayra ma fiha. I am asking you the good of this city and the good that is in it. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ شَرِّ هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةِ وَمِنْ شَرِّ مَا فِيهَا. And I seek refuge with you from the evil of this city and the evil that is in it. So this hadith right here indicated the earth is also 7 in number. So the similarity between the heavens and the earth is in number but not in nature, because the heavens are more spacious than the earth. And some of the scholars said, Imam al-Qurtubi also mentioned that in his commentary of this verse. Actually, he said the earth are 7 in number, but they are layers apart. Earth, one above the what? Another. They are connected. But the heavens are 7 heavens, but there is space between each heavens. So this is the second point that we would like to address regarding this verse. The third point is that the belief that the heavens are 7 is one of the belief in the what? Unseen. Because do we have any means of proving that the heavens are 7? No. This is beyond our knowledge. Nobody knows. So the belief that the heavens are 7 is something that we have to believe, and it is part of the belief on the unseen that makes us to be from the muttaqun. Because we have no means of proving that the heavens are 7 in number. This is why the scientists today, they're saying that this is a myth. They believe that the heavens are 7 is a myth because they don't believe in that. They're not able to prove that. And this is because their knowledge did not reach there. If you're not able to prove the facts of the Quran, then you should accuse your intellect with deficiency. But do not accuse the Quran with deficiency, because the statement of Allah the Almighty are facts. So the scientists, if they're not able to prove something, they say it is a myth. You understand? Instead of agreeing that their knowledge did not reach that level, they just say it's a what? It's a myth. Allah the Almighty mentioned in the Quran saying, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. And you are not given anything from knowledge but a little. So we do not know anything about this universe. In reality, what we know about this universe, as the scientists themselves claim, they only know like 3%. of the reality of this dunya. But in reality, they know less than that. And this is the fact, because the scientists themselves are saying that the 95% of this universe is made up from the dark energy, in the dark matter, right? And then 25% is the dark matter, and 75 is the dark energy. They don't have any clue of the dark energy. The dark matter is what produces the gravitational force, and the dark energy is what produces the anti-gravitational force. And this is what they say, that it is the dark energy that expands the universe. And Allah Almighty addressed this in Surah Dhariyat, saying, وَالسَّمَاءَ بَنَيْنَاهَا بِأَيْدٍ وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ. Indeed, the heavens, we created them with بِأَيْدٍ, and the word aid means strength. وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ, and we continue to expand the heavens. So they do believe that the dark energy exists and that the dark energy expands the universe, but they have zero knowledge of what the dark energy is about. They only know a little bit about the dark the dark matter. So like I said, they do not know. And the reason being is because our knowledge, the means of learning are our senses, right? We know through touching, seeing, hearing, and smelling and tasting. But these senses have limitations. These senses have limitations. As a matter of fact, some animals have stronger senses than us. You know, some animals can smell maybe a few miles away, but we cannot smell that far. You understand? So they have, some of them can see far, like eagles. You know, their sense of seeing is way stronger than our sense of seeing. So the point that I'm trying to make here is our senses have limitations. Our understanding have limitations. There are things that are beyond the phenomena of the science. They just can't comprehend it. All right? They just have to submit that these things, yeah, there is something out there, but we don't know what are these things. They can only make speculation. So if you are not able to prove something, doesn't mean that that thing does not what? Exist. Just accuse your intellect of deficiency. This is how we have those, you know, deviated sect that we call the agnostic, you know, the agnosticism. They say we cannot prove that Allah exists, so we would not say He exists, right? And we cannot prove that He does not exist, so we would not say He does not what? Exist. And therefore we will remain what? Neutral. They are confused. You understand? Instead of this acknowledging that you have limitation. You know, this is how Allah created us. وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. You are not given from knowledge but a little. This is the reason why when Khidr was with Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, when Musa came to, you know, Allah sent Musa to go to Khidr and seek knowledge, because Musa was asked, is there anyone on the face of this earth today who is more knowledgeable than you? What do you expect the answer from Musa to be? Yes or no?
Musa said no, but he said yes.
He said no, right? Musa said what? No. Does he have the right to say no? Most likely, yes. I mean, logically, we will say what? Yes, the reason being because he is a prophet. He speaks directly to Allah. So he gets all the information, right? So Musa said no. But Allah the Almighty wants to prove to him that there is somebody who has more knowledge than him, to keep him humble, right? So Musa went to Khidr, and of course at the end he failed the journey of seeking knowledge because he was very impatient. And there are many lessons we learn from the story of Musa and Khidr. But when Musa and Khidr were sitting at the shore, a bird came and dipped its beak in the sea, right? And took, you know, just sipped some water out. And Khidr said to Musa, he said, my knowledge and your knowledge compared to the knowledge of Allah the Almighty is like what the bird took out of what? The water. Of course, there is no percentage for what the bird took out of the what? Out of the sea. So in reality, it's nothing, right? So Allah the Almighty is the knower of everything. If you don't have knowledge of something, just accuse yourself of deficiency. But whatever is mentioned in the Quran is the fact. The sixth point that we get from this verse is that the signs that indicate the existence of Allah the Almighty in the creation of man compared to the sign that indicates the existence of Allah the Almighty in the creation of the universe is like a drop in an ocean. If you read the Quran, you will see that Allah the Almighty is calling us to ponder over our creation, right? To know that He, Allah, exists. فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. Let me take a look at what he is created from, right? خُلِقَ مِن مَاءٍ دَافِقٍ. He's created from a gushing fluid. So here the Most High is calling us to think about the origin of our creation and what we were and what we have become. However, the creation of the heavens and the earth compared to the creation of human being is like a drop in an ocean. That's why if you read the Quran, you will see that Allah the Almighty is addressing us saying, أَأَنْتُمْ أَشَدُّ خَلْقًا أَمِ السَّمَاء بَنَاهَا. Are you more difficult to create or the heavens, which He, Allah the Almighty, what? Built, right? رَفَعَ سَمْكَهَا فَسَوَّاهَا. He raised its horizon and He perfected it to the end of the surah. In another ayah, where He, the Most High, said, لَخَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ أَكْبَرُ مِنْ خَلْقِ النَّاسِ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرُ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. He said, indeed, the creation of the heavens and the earth is greater, far greater than the creation of man, but most men do not know. We ask Allah the Almighty to make us amongst those who know. Amen. And here the Most High also commended us in this verse, saying we should raise our head up and look to see if we can find any fault in the creation of the what? The most beneficent. Of course, He's calling us to take a look at the heavens and ponder over it to know the existence of Allah, the greatness of Allah, the knowledge of Allah, and the wisdom of Allah the Almighty. So God commanded us to look at the heavens and how it is created. But when we look at the heavens, we should look at it with the looking of an eyesight and the looking of an insight. The first is the normal use of the faculty of vision, and the second is the clear or deep perception of a situation by grasping the inner nature of things. And that comes with what? Pondering and contemplating. It comes with pondering and contemplating. That's why He, the Most High, mentioned in Surah Ali Imran, saying, Inna fi khalqi samawati wal ard. Indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, واختلاف الليل والنهار, and the alternation of the day and night are signs for men of understanding. But who are they? Say, الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا. These are those who remember Allah the Almighty while standing. They remember Allah the Almighty while sitting. وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. And they remember Allah the Almighty while lying on their sides. وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. This is the point right here. And they ponder, they contemplate, they think deeply in the creation of the heavens and the earth to know the greatness of their Lord. And they say, after contemplating, رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا. O our Lord, indeed you have not created these things in vain. Subhanak, glory be to you. Fakina Nar, grant us protection from the punishment of the hellfire. So when you look at the heavens with the looking of an eyesight, you see the beauty of the heavens, and you see the art of the heavens. You see the beauty of its color, the moving clouds, its spaciousness and its roundness, its highness and its hugeness. You see the sun and the moon and the planets. However, one should also look at the heavens with the looking of an insight, and that is to have a deeper perception of things. Because when you look at the heavens, the looking of an insight, then the doors of the heavens will be open for you to take a tour of the heavens and see the kingdom of the heavens and the angels of the heavens and their multiplicity till you arrive at the throne of Allah the Almighty. Because remember, The Prophet ﷺ said, أَطَّتِ السَّمَاء وَحُقَّ لَهَا أَن تَئِدْ. So the heavens are making a squeaking sound, and it is, she has every right to make that sound. The reason being is because مَا مِن مَوْضِعٍ أَرْبَعَ أَصَابِعٍ إِلَّا وَفِيهَا مَلَكٌ سَاجِدٌ أَوْ رَاكِعٌ أَوْ قَائِمٌ. The Prophet said there is no spot where you can place 4 fingers in the heavens, except that there is an angel that is in a state of bowing, or an angel that is in a state of prostrating, or an angel that is in a state of what? Standing, praying, and glorifying their Lord. So these angels outnumber, the angels of the first heaven, they outnumbered mankind and angelkind. The angels of the second heavens outnumbered the angels of the first, mankind and jinn combined together. And the angels of the third heavens likewise outnumbered the angels of the second, the first, mankind and jinn combined together till the angels of the 7 heavens. I mean, this really indicates how great our Lord is. So you travel with your heart and take a tour of the heavens until you arrive at the throne of Allah the Almighty, the greatest thing that Allah the Almighty has created. And then think about what the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith that is narrated by Bukhari in his Sahih and Muslim in his Sahih. The Prophet ﷺ said, the 7 heavens and the earth compared to the stool of Allah the Almighty is like a ring that is thrown on a desert land. Imagine a ring on a desert land. Can you find the ring? It's going to take you forever, right? You will not see it. So this is compared to the stool, and the stool is different from the arsh. The kursi is different from the throne. Many people get confused and switch, they think the kursi and the arsh is the same. No. The kursi, he the Messiah said, wasi'a kursiyyu as-samawati wal ard. His kursi, his stool, is more spacious or outspace the heavens and the earth. And then the Prophet said the kursi compared to the arsh is like a ring that is thrown on a desert. So when you think about this, you understand what the Prophet ﷺ meant. Allahu Akbar, Allah the Almighty is the one, the greatest. Then you can see with your heart the angels circumambulating the throne of Allah the Almighty while glorifying His praises. Then you see how affairs are decreed from the heavens to the earth. Because He the Messiah said, يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ. He decreed every affair from the heavens to the earth. And the angels that are assigned with different tasks, including life and death, elevation and degradation, fortunes and misfortunes, health and sickness, poverty and riches, giving leadership to others and snatching it away from others, and transferring of bounties from one place to another, fulfilling the needs of the creatures despite of its varieties, forgiving sins, accepting repentance, helping the oppressed, punishing the oppressor, aiding the weak, and many other affairs that cannot be counted. And all of these affairs revolve around the pivot of His wisdom, His knowledge, mercy, and justice. No hearing occupies Him from the other hearing, despite the number of complaints that are raised to Allah the Almighty. Could you imagine, in a second, many people raise their complaints to Allah the Almighty in different languages. Everybody has his need. Some are asking Allah the Almighty for children. Some are asking to get married. But Allah the Almighty listens to each and every one of them. No hearing occupies Him from what? From the other. I mean, if you ponder like this, you will really understand the meaning of the statement of Allah the Almighty, Allahu Akbar. Allah the Almighty is the what? Is the greatest. In different tongues and different languages at the same time, but He listens to all of them and answers all. None has the right to be worshipped but He alone. When the heart sees this with its insight, it will then submit to its Creator while expressing humbleness to Allah and expressing humility to His Majesty by prostrating to Him with a prostration that will remain till the day of judgment. So as a result, the heart will be in constant connection with its creator. We ask the Lord Almighty to make us like that. Amen. Here the Most High then mentions saying, ثُمَّ ارْجِعِ الْبَصَرَ كَرَّتَيْنِ. He said, if you doubt in the first looking, turn your sight back again and look once again and see if you can find any fault in the heavens. يَنْقَلِبُ إِلَيْكَ الْبَصَرُ خَاسِئًا وَهُوَ حَسِيرٌ. Your sight will turn back to you humiliated, downcast, and worn out. Allahu Akbar. May Allah Almighty make us amongst those who believe. Amen. He the Most High then said afterwards in the next verse, وَلَقَدْ زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِمَصَابِيحَ وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينِ وَأَعْتَدْنَا لَهُمْ عَذَابَ السَّعِيرِ. He said, we have indeed beautified the lower heavens with masabih, with lights. And this lights here is referred to anything that illuminates above us, whether it is the planets or the satellites like the moon, or star like the sun, or the galaxies in general. Allah Almighty said He is the one who beautified the lower heavens with these galaxies and these planets and these stars. The number of the lands that are above us is uncountable. The scientists said there are billions of galaxies, and each galaxy has billions of what? Stars. So if you have to multiply these billions of galaxies by the billions of what? Stars, it's going to give you not trillions, not quadrillions, not quintillions, not sextillions, but octillions. I'm talking about 24 zeros of light that are above us. This is something that is beyond our imagination, you know? And this is something that we cannot understand. I mean, just the stars and the galaxies that are above us, we cannot count them. I mean, this number is more than the cash that the entire world have, right? We're talking about trillions. This is not about trillions. It's not about quadrillions. It's not about quintillions. It's not about septillion. It's about octillion. It's a number that we cannot what? Imagine. And some of the stars, the scientists are saying they are trillions of miles away from us. So which means if even you are to travel in an airplane, just travel 1,000 miles per hour, it's going to take you thousands of years to arrive to a star. I mean, this is mind-boggling. I'm serious. It's something that, and all these are within the lower what? The lower heavens. This is not, this did not pass the first heaven. So our knowledge is very what? Little. All that we have to do is to what? To surrender. And the more the scientists discover the wonders of the world, the more they realize that they are lacking a lot of what? Knowledge. And how many speculations have they done, and then they realize that, whoa, we are wrong. And how many times did they say, oh, there are only this number of planets, then they say, whoa, we discover what? Another one. So our knowledge is really, really little compared to the knowledge of Allah, the Almighty. That's why we have to submit and then humble ourselves to Allah, the Almighty. Our scholars mentioned that the stars are created to serve several purposes. Some of these purposes are mentioned in this verse right here. وَلَقَدْ زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِمَصَابِيحَ. And the first is Allah also, we have indeed beautified the lower heavens with lights, right? So one of the purposes behind the creation of the stars is adornment, zinatan lis-sama, to adorn the heavens. It's beautification of the heavens and the decoration of the heavens. Then he was like, وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينِ, and we made it as missiles against the devils. You know, the shayateen they used to climb on each other like chain until they go to the what? To the lower heavens to steal information. Right? Allah the Almighty mentioned in Surah Al-Jinn saying, they said, وَأَنَّا لَمَسْنَا السَّمَاءَ. Indeed, we used to climb up to the heavens, فَوَجَدْنَاهَا حَرَسًا شَدِيدًا وَشُهُبًا. And we found that the heavens have what? Guards that are there. And shuhub, and shooting what? Stars. Because Allah will shoot, throw the missiles against them and burn them. This is وَأَنَّا كُنَّا نَقْعُدُ مِنْهَا مَقَاعِدَ لِلسَّمَعِ. We used to sit there to steal information. But after the coming of the Prophet ﷺ, the door is shut. And whoever tries to steal information will get what? Will get shot with the missiles. Allah the Almighty said, إِلَّا مَنِ اسْتَرَكَ السَّمْعَ فَأَتْبَعَهُ شِهَابٌ ثَاقِبٌ. Except for those who try to steal information, then we will cast the missile against them. So this is one of the strengths that the jinn have. So the jinn, they have with physical strength, they are more powerful than us. This is the reason why Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam used the jinn. They are his architect. They are his builders who build, houses. They sculpt many things for him. They make vessels for him and stuff like this. So the second is the star are there to be missiles against the devils. The third, our scholars said, it's a navigation system for the travelers to be able to identify and navigate their way towards their destination. Here the Most High mentioned in Surah An-Naml saying, وَعَلَامَاتٍ وَبِالنَّجْمِ هُمْ يَهْتَدُونَ. And with the signs, meaning from the signs of Allah the Almighty, is that the people, use the najm, the stars, as means of what? Guidance for them to know their ways. So the travelers, they used to sail. While they are sailing, they are able to identify, oh, this star is coming from the east, or this star is from the west. So they're able to know which direction to take in their journey. So these are some of the benefits of the stars. From the benefits of the stars and the moons and the sun above us is that it is there for us to be able to know the counting of days, month, weeks, and even tell time. As He the Most High said in Surah Yunus, Inna rabbakum Allahu alladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal ard fi sittati ayyam, right? Thumma stawa ala al-arsh. And He also said, Huwa alladhi ja'ala ash-shamsa diya'a wal qamara nura wa qaddarahu manazila li ta'lamu 'adada as-sinina wal hisab. He is the one who made the sun to be shining lamp and the moon to be light for you. وَقَدَّرَهُ مَنَازِلَ. And He has decreed manazil. How am I going to put this? Manazil are the manazil of the. I'm looking for the word for it. Or it's not coming. Anyway, so Allah Almighty said He has placed manazil for the moon, meaning ascensions for the moon. The moon has ascensions. And this is how we are able to tell days of the month. But with sun, we are able to tell what? Time of the day. 24 hours, we're able to tell time by sunrise and sunset. We're able to tell days of the month by the moon. So these are some of the purpose behind the creation of these stars and satellites above us. And this is one of the blessings of Allah the Almighty. Could you imagine living in a world where we cannot tell time? How can we establish transactions? How can we even navigate our way around? You understand? Because in order to have transaction, you have to know, okay, how many hours did you Did you work? Right? What time do we have to meet? I mean, all this. But if there is no time, we will not be able to live our life the way we do today. So we have to be grateful for Allah Almighty for creating the alternation of the day and night for us to be able to tell time. Is it permissible to study the stars, planets, and the galaxies?
Yes.
Yes, right? Yes, if we're doing it from the scientific what? Standpoint, right? And that is the astronomical study of the stars. But if we're doing it from the astrological standpoint, then this is what? This is haram, right? So if you study the stars like the people do today, you know, like NASA do today, they're trying to go to the space and explore. This is something that Allah the Almighty commanded us to do, and it's based on knowledge. It is something that is praiseworthy. But the astrological study of the stars by using the 12 zodiac signs to tell fortunes and misfortunes, this is something that is absolutely a haram, because they're claiming the knowledge of the unseen, and no one knows the unseen but who? Allah the Almighty alone. وَإِنَّهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ لَا يَعْلَمُهَا إِلَّا هُ. With him are the keys of the heavens. I mean, the keys of the unseen. No one knows them but he alone. So if you claim that you know the unseen, then you are claiming something that is specific for Allah. This is absolute right of Allah the Almighty. Whoever claimed that absolute right of Allah the Almighty has claimed it right from the right of divinity, is making himself what? God. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said, when ata arrafa, whoever come to these soothsayers and ask them about something, and then, you know, trust what they tell and believe in what they tell him, then he has disbelief in that which is revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The reason being is because you are saying that these astrologists, they know the unseen, and this attribute is an absolute right of Allah the Almighty, because it is the knowledge of the ghaib. The word ghaib, just to expound on that, and then I think we will stop here because I have to go and deliver iftar to, you know, I'm assigned today to deliver the iftar, inshallah. But I want to talk about the ghaib in brief. Our scholars have divided ghaib into two: ghaib al-mutlaq, an absolute ghaib, which is an absolute unknown knowledge, wa ghaibun muqayyad, and a relative ghaib, right? Example of absolute ghaib is, when is the hour going to be established? Did anyone know? No. So if somebody come out and claim that they know when the hour will be established, he has disbelief, right? When will I die? When will you die? Do you know? No. So if somebody claimed that, these are absolute knowledge of what? Unknown. All right? And there is a relative ghaib. A relative ghaib is a ghaib that is relatively to others is ghaib, but to others it is not what? It's not unknown, right? I'll give you an example. And if you claim that too, you're claiming the knowledge of unknown, and that is haram, right? So if I ask you right now, do you know how much money I have in a bank account? No, right? Is it unknown?
No, it's known, but not by us.
You understand? So relatively, it is unknown. This is what we mean by the relative what? Ghaib. It is unknown to you, but it is known to me. So if you claim that you know it, you're claiming the knowledge of unknown. And that is also will take you out of the fold of Islam, even though it is not an absolute ghaib. So both the relative ghaib and the absolute ghaib are both what? We are not supposed to claim them. I mean, the absolute ghaib, of course, you cannot claim them, period. But the relative ghaib, if you claim them, it also take you out of the fold of Islam, except something that is based on knowledge. And sometimes, there are another example of relative gaib is like knowing the gender of your children, right? Before, the scientists, reached the level of, I would say, inventing ultrasounds and stuff like this, they were not able to tell, right? Sometimes they used to say there are signs that they can tell, if the nipple of the mother is dark, that she's going to have a baby boy, and all, if it's, all this is, these are signs, but they don't have the knowledge. But now that science has reached the level of discovering this, it is no longer a gaib to them, right? But it is gaib for those who do not know. So it will be considered a relative gaib. So this is how we're able to differentiate between the gaibs, inshallah. I think we will start here. If you have any comments or any questions, we'll take it to the best of our ability, inshallah.
You say what?
If you have any question or comment.
Oh yeah, so in the sense of like you said with the baby, if let's say it's too early, but like you said, you feeling like you got like the signs, people like, oh, you got heartburn, so you probably having a boy or stuff like. Would that fall into the gaib? Because
they're not saying it with certainty.
Okay.
This is a speculation. They're not saying it. Yeah, it's nothing wrong to speculate something. But to say with certainty that this is for surety, this is what's going to happen, then this is claiming the knowledge of the unknown. Even with the forecasters, they're able to, predict that it will rain because of the signs that Allah the Almighty has created that leads to, rain. But you cannot determine. So we can say, the forecaster said it will rain tomorrow, inshallah, right? You cannot be determined. You have to say, inshallah. Because how many times do they say it will rain? And it never rained, right? So, like for example, that tomorrow you have your program, you have your schedule, you know what you're going to do. But you don't know if it's really going to, you don't know what's going to happen. How many people leave the house, say, honey, I'm coming back very quick. We're going to go to the restaurant, whatever. They're out, boom, they never make it back because they got killed or they involved in an accident. So you may have plans and everything. You have all the means of actualizing what you want to get, but you don't know for sure that it's going to happen. So if you don't know, if you have a relative knowledge of something, but not absolute, and nobody has what? Absolute knowledge but Allah, you have to always say, inshallah. Now, and if you don't know, you say, Allahu A'lam, Only Allah knows. I don't know. Now. Jazakumullahu khairan. Any question? All right. Elijah, right? What's your name? Sam?
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful name. MashaAllah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Barakallahu feekum. I'm going to rush very quick. Inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum.